My intern leaked my secret. Now she runs my life. If you're listening to this, it means my life is already over. Because 3 hours ago, the girl who makes my morning coffee looked me straight in the eyes, held up her phone, and showed me a photo of me, wearing a red dress I swore no one would ever see. My hands are still shaking. I can barely breathe. And the worst part? She smiled like she finally understood how to control me. So before everything collapses, before she destroys my career, my relationship, and the fragile double life I've spent years hiding, I need to tell someone the truth. I need to tell you. Because this didn't start today. It started years ago in silence, in secrecy, in mirrors that reflected a version of me I was never supposed to become. My name is Arman, 31, senior marketing manager at one of the fastest growing tech firms in the city. The kind of job where reputation is everything, where confidence is currency, where one whisper of scandal can erase an entire career overnight. On paper, my life looks perfect. Corner office, 6-figure salary, people who stand a little straighter when I walk into meetings, a girlfriend everyone envies, Mia, smart, elegant, effortlessly confident in a way that makes rooms feel smaller. She believes in discipline, control, and clean lines, both in business and in life, which is why she can never know the truth about me. Because the truth doesn't fit into clean lines. The truth hides in the back of my closet, inside a locked suitcase, beneath neatly folded shirts no one has ever questioned. Silk, soft colors, heels wrapped in tissue paper like fragile secrets. A wig I told myself I'd throw away but never could. I wish I could say it was a phase, a mistake, curiosity that faded with age. But the truth is quieter than that, and far more dangerous. It isn't about costumes. It isn't about pretending. It's about the strange, terrifying calm that washes over me the moment fabric brushes against my skin. The moment the mirror stops showing the man everyone expects and reveals someone softer, freer, painfully honest. Someone I don't fully understand, but can't let go of. For years I controlled it. Only at night. Only when Mia was away visiting her parents. Only when every curtain was closed, every notification silenced, every possible risk eliminated. I built rules, schedules, excuses, because secrets don't survive without discipline. And mine was perfectly contained, until the company hired a new intern. Her name is Ria, 22, quiet voice, sharp eyes that notice everything even when she pretends not to, the kind of person people underestimate, right before she proves them wrong. She joined my department 2 months ago. Top university, flawless recommendations, polite, efficient, invisible in the way interns are supposed to be. At first, she was just background noise in a busy office. Someone who organized files, scheduled meetings, brought coffee exactly how I like it without ever asking twice. I barely looked at her. And that was my first mistake. Because invisible people see everything. The night everything changed was supposed to be safe. Mia had left for a 3-day conference. My calendar was clear. Rain pressed softly against the apartment windows, muting the world, wrapping the city in privacy. Perfect silence. Perfect control. I remember standing in front of the closet, key trembling slightly in my fingers, heart beating with that familiar mix of fear and relief. One night I told myself, just a few hours of breathing without pretending. The suitcase opened with a quiet click that sounded louder than thunder. Fabric slid through my hands like memory. Soft, cool, dangerous. Every movement felt ritualistic, practiced, necessary. Like stepping into a truth I could only visit, never live. And when I finally looked in the mirror, there it was again. That confusing, fragile piece. The kind that makes you forget, just for a moment, how much you have to lose. I should have stopped there. Closed everything. Locked the suitcase. Returned to being the man the world understands. But peace is addictive. And addiction makes people careless. Because while I was lost in that quiet reflection, while the rain covered every sound, I forgot one simple thing. Earlier that evening, before leaving the office, I had asked Ria to drop off a set of urgent documents at my apartment mailbox. Just the mailbox. Nothing more. A harmless request. Routine. Forgettable. Except the security guard knows me well. Knows my schedule. Knows I work late. So when a polite intern arrived with files and said, "Sir told me it's important," he let her upstairs. I didn't hear the doorbell. I didn't hear the knock. All I heard was the soft click of my apartment door opening behind me, and a quiet voice saying, "Sir, I think you forgot these documents." The mirror showed her before I could turn around, standing there, frozen, phone slowly slipping from her hand, then tightening again as shock turned into something else, something calculating, something dangerous. Our eyes met through the reflection, and in that single silent second, my entire life stopped breathing. 3 hours later, she sent the first message. A single photo. No words. Just me, in the red dress, looking peaceful in a way I've never looked in public. Under it, one line appeared. "We need to talk tomorrow, sir." And that's when I realized, this isn't just a secret anymore. It's leverage. And the quiet, invisible intern everyone ignores now holds the power to destroy everything. If you think this is where the story ends, you're wrong. Because what she asked for the next day was something I never could have imagined. And once I said yes, there was no way back. I didn't sleep that night. Not even for a minute. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the same image, the glow of her phone screen, that frozen reflection in the mirror. The exact moment my two lives collided. By morning, the silence inside my apartment felt suffocating. The red dress was gone. The wig locked away. The suitcase buried back under layers of normalcy. But nothing felt hidden anymore. Because secrets don't disappear once someone else sees them. They just change owners. And now mine belonged to her. The office felt different the next day. Too bright. Too loud. Every conversation sounded suspicious, like people were whispering about something they couldn't possibly know. Yet, I kept waiting for the disaster. An email from HR. A message from Mia. A meeting request with that cold, formal subject line. "We need to discuss a serious concern." But nothing came. Only one notification appeared on my phone at 9:12 a.m. Unknown number. One message. Conference room B. Alone. No name. No explanation. She didn't need one. The walk to that room felt longer than any presentation I'd ever given. My heartbeat was so loud I was sure people could hear it through my shirt. Every step carried the same question. How much does she want? Money? Promotion? Silence? Or worse, control? When I pushed the door open, she was already inside. Ria sat calmly at the far end of the table, hands folded, posture straight, like this was just another normal meeting. Her phone rested on the table, screen down, but I could feel its presence like a weapon. She looked up when I entered. No shock, no embarrassment, no apology, just that same quiet, observant expression, the one I should have feared from the beginning. "Good morning, sir," she said softly. Sir. The word sounded different now. Not respectful, powerful. I closed the door behind me. The click echoed too loudly. "What do you want?" My voice came out rougher than I intended. Direct. Defensive. A man trying to sound in control of a situation already slipping away. She tilted her head slightly, studying me. For a long moment she didn't answer. And silence, I realized, was her first move. Because the longer she stayed quiet, the more desperate I felt to fill the space. Finally she spoke. "You don't have to be scared," she said gently. That almost made me laugh. Almost. "Delete the photo," I replied. "Name your price." There it was. Simple. Transactional. The way powerful people solve problems. But Ria didn't react the way I expected. Instead she smiled faintly. Not cruel. Not kind. Just knowing. "I don't want money, sir." My stomach dropped. Because money is easy. Unknown demands are not. She slowly turned her phone over. The screen lit up. Not just one photo. A small gallery. Different angles. Different moments. Proof that my secret hadn't existed for just a second, but long enough to be undeniable. My throat tightened. "How many copies?" I whispered. "Enough," she said calmly. "Enough that deleting one won't matter." Control. Total. Quiet. Terrifying control. "Why are you doing this?" I asked. And for the first time something shifted in her eyes. Not cruelty. Something closer to curiosity. "Because," she said slowly, You're not the person everyone thinks you are. Each word landed carefully, precisely, and I want to understand who you really are. Confusion cut through my fear. That's none of your business. Maybe, she replied. But it became my business the moment you trusted me to come to your home. Trusted. The word felt like a blade. Because she was right. This wasn't just blackmail. It was exposure. She leaned back slightly, relaxed, patient, like she already knew how this would end. I won't ruin your life, she said. Unless you force me to. Cold air moved through my chest. What does that mean? It means, she continued softly, you're going to do something for me. There it was. The real beginning. Not money. Not revenge. Something worse. 'Cause favors can grow. What kind of something? I asked. She held my gaze. And for the first time since this nightmare began, I felt something unfamiliar beneath the fear. Not just danger. Anticipation. Tonight, she said quietly, I want you to meet me. My pulse quickened. Where? My apartment. Every instinct screamed no. This was wrong. Risky. Insane. But the image of that photo, of Mia seeing it, of my career collapsing, of whispers spreading through the office, crushed every protest before it could form. And if I refuse? I asked. She didn't hesitate. Then tomorrow, she said gently, the world meets the version of you in the red dress. Silence filled the room again. But this time it wasn't empty. It was a decision. My voice felt distant when I finally spoke. What do you want me to do there? Her answer came almost like a whisper. Come as yourself, she said. Your real self. The words wrapped around my chest tight, confusing, dangerous. Because part of me heard a threat. But another part, the quiet, hidden part I'd spent years burying, heard something else. Permission. And that terrified me more than the blackmail. I should have walked out. Reported her. Risked everything. Chosen destruction over surrender. That's what a strong person would do. That's what the man everyone respects would do. But strength becomes complicated when someone holds the truth you're most afraid to face. So instead of refusing, I asked the question that sealed my fate. What time? Ria's smile returned. Soft. Certain. Victorious. I'll text you the address, she said. 8 o'clock. When I left that conference room, nothing in the office looked different. People still typed. Phones still rang. Meetings still happened. The world continued. Completely unaware that mine had just tilted off its axis. By evening, a single message waited on my phone. An address. No extra words. And beneath it, one final line. Don't be late, sir. Standing in my apartment hours later, I stared at the locked suitcase again. Rain tapped softly against the windows, just like the night before. But nothing felt peaceful now. Only inevitable. My hand trembled as I reached for the key. Because deep down, past the fear, past the shame, one dangerous truth kept whispering inside me. This wasn't just blackmail anymore. This was the moment my hidden life stopped being hidden. And once I walked out that door tonight, nothing would ever belong to me again. By 7:42 p.m., I was still standing in front of the mirror. Not moving. Not breathing properly. Just staring. The room felt smaller than ever before. Like the walls were slowly closing in to watch the decision I was about to make. On the bed behind me, the red dress, folded neatly, waiting, silent, but powerful enough to destroy everything I had built. My phone screen kept lighting up on the table. One unread message from Ria. I'm waiting. 2 words. Calm. Simple. Completely in control. I should have deleted the message. Blocked her. Walked away and faced whatever consequences came next. That would have been the brave choice. But bravery is easy when you're not terrified of being seen. And tonight my biggest fear wasn't losing my job, or Mia, or my reputation. It was losing the only place where I had ever felt honest. My fingers touched the fabric of the dress. Soft, cool, familiar. The moment it brushed my skin, that dangerous calm returned. The same quiet peace I'd chased for years in secret. But tonight it felt different. Heavier. Because this time, someone else was waiting to see it. Not by accident. Not by mistake. On purpose. And that changed everything. The transformation felt slower than usual. Every movement carried weight. Pulling the zipper up my back felt like sealing a contract I could never undo. The wig settling over my hair felt less like comfort, more like surrender. Even the faint scent of makeup in the air felt sharper, almost electric. Halfway through, my hands started shaking. Not from shame, from the realization that this wasn't just about clothes anymore. This was about control. And tonight, control didn't belong to me. At exactly 7:59 p.m., I stepped out of my apartment, heels touching the hallway floor with soft, terrifying clicks. Each sound echoed like a countdown. What if someone saw me? What if Mia called? What if this was all a trap waiting to collapse? But underneath every fear, another feeling kept rising. Something warmer, stronger, something dangerously close to freedom. And I hated how much I could feel it. Ria's apartment building was only 15 minutes away. The longest 15 minutes of my life. Every red light felt like judgment. Every passing car felt like exposure. Every reflection in the window reminded me. There was no turning back now. When I finally stood outside her door, my heartbeat was so loud I thought she might hear it through the wood. For a moment I considered leaving. Just walking away. Disappearing. Pretending none of this ever happened. But then my phone buzzed again. I know you're outside. My stomach dropped. Slowly. The door unlocked from inside. She was standing there barefoot. Simple clothes. No surprise on her face. Just quiet certainty. Her eyes moved over me. Not shocked, not mocking, not even curious. Just observing. Like she had been waiting to see this version of me all along. You came, she said softly. I couldn't answer. Because in that moment something shifted in the air between us. The power dynamic from the office, cold, professional, distant, was gone. This was something else now. Something far more dangerous. Come in, she said gently. I stepped inside. The door closed behind me with a soft click that sounded final, permanent, unavoidable. Her apartment was quiet. Warm light. No music. No distractions. Just the two of us. And the truth standing exposed between us. For several seconds neither of us spoke. Then she asked the question that made my chest tighten. Are you scared of me? My voice came out barely above a whisper. Yes. She nodded slowly, like she respected the honesty. Good, she said. Because I'm scared too. That answer hit harder than anything else tonight. Because fear meant this wasn't simple blackmail anymore. It meant this mattered to her. And that was infinitely more complicated. She walked closer. Not touching. Just close enough that I could feel the warmth of her presence. You think I want to ruin you, she said quietly. But if I wanted that, it would already be done. I swallowed hard. Then why am I here? Her eyes held mine, steady, searching, almost vulnerable. Because, she whispered, I saw the way you looked in that mirror. My breath caught. Not ashamed, she continued. Not pretending. Just peaceful. Silence filled the room again. But this time it wasn't threatening. It was revealing. I've never seen someone look that honest before, she said. The words cracked something open inside my chest. Something I had spent years trying to keep locked away. You don't understand, I murmured. If anyone finds out, they might, she said calmly. And your life might change. My pulse pounded. That's exactly what I'm afraid of. She studied me for a long moment, then asked softly, or is that exactly what you want? The question felt like lightning under my skin, because I didn't know the answer, and that terrified me more than exposure ever could. Suddenly, my phone rang. The sound shattered the fragile quiet like glass. Mia's name lit up the screen. Everything inside me froze. Ria looked down at the phone, then back at my face. Neither of us moved. The ringing continued. Loud. Urgent. Impossible to ignore. If I answered, this double life might collide in real time. If I didn't, she might come looking. My hands trembled as I held the phone between us. Caught between two worlds, two truths, two versions of myself that could not exist together. Ria's voice dropped to a whisper. Whatever you choose next, she said. You can't go back. The ringing kept going. Mia. My past. My safety. On one side. Ria. The truth. The unknown. On the other. My thumb hovered over the screen. heart pounding so hard it hurt. And in that final suspended second right before everything changed, I realized something horrifying. This was never about an intern leaking my secret. This was about the moment I had to decide which life was actually mine. The ringing stopped. Silence crashed down. And I still hadn't chosen. The silence after the ringing stopped felt louder than the sound itself. My phone screen went dark in my hand. Mia's name disappeared, but the decision didn't. Because not choosing is still a choice. I could feel Ria watching me. Not pushing. Not speaking. Just waiting to see which version of me would survive this moment. The safe one. Or the honest one. My chest tightened so hard it almost hurt to breathe. I should call her back, I whispered. Though the words sounded weak even to me. Ria didn't argue. That somehow made it worse. Because if she had forced me, I could have blamed her. But this was mine. Completely mine. My fingers trembled as I unlocked the screen again. One tap. That's all it would take. One tap. And I could return to the life where everything made sense. Where I was respected. Normal. Untouched by secrets. A life where this night would become nothing more than a hidden mistake buried in memory. But another thought slipped in, quiet, dangerous, impossible to ignore. If I called Mia back right now, I would also be choosing to lock that suitcase forever. To bury the mirror. To silence the only part of me that had ever felt real. And suddenly, I didn't know which loss was worse. Why didn't you answer? Ria asked softly. Her voice wasn't accusing. It sounded almost careful. I stared at the dark screen. Because if I talk to her, I said slowly, I'll pretend nothing is wrong. And something is wrong? She asked. The question hung between us like exposed wire. For years I had avoided that truth. Drowned it in work. Routine. Expectations. But tonight, standing here with nothing left to hide, lying felt impossible. Yes, I whispered. The word felt small. But the honesty inside it felt enormous. Ria exhaled quietly, like she had been holding her breath for this answer. Then maybe, she said, this isn't the worst thing that could have happened to you. I looked up sharply. How can you say that? You have photos that could destroy my life. She didn't deny it. Didn't apologize either. Instead, she said something that made my heart beat slow in a completely different way. Or save it. I let out a hollow laugh. Blackmail doesn't save people. No, she agreed gently. But truth sometimes does. Truth. Such a simple word. Such a terrifying one. Minutes passed. Or maybe seconds. Time felt meaningless in that room. Outside, distant traffic hummed like the world continuing without me. Inside, everything waited. Finally, I asked the question I had been avoiding since this nightmare began. What do you actually want from me? Not money. Not power. The real answer. Ria met my eyes, steady, unflinching. I want you to stop lying, she said. My throat tightened. To Mia. I asked. To yourself. The words landed deeper than any threat ever could. Because somewhere inside, I knew she was right. And I hated her for seeing it. Another vibration in my hand. A new message from Mia. Why didn't you answer? I'm worried. 3 simple words at the end. I'm worried. Guilt rushed in instantly, sharp and suffocating. Mia loved the version of me she understood. Trusted him. Planned a future with him. And here I was, standing in another woman's apartment, wearing a truth I had never dared to share. What kind of person did that make me? The question burned. Because for the first time, I didn't have an excuse. Text her, Ria said quietly. Tell her you're safe. I looked up surprised. That's it. She nodded. Relief should have come. Instead, unease grew stronger. Because this felt less like control, and more like patience. Like she wasn't trying to ruin my life. She was waiting for me to change it myself. And that possibility was far more frightening. My fingers moved slowly across the screen. I'm okay. Just busy. I'll call later. A lie. Soft. Easy. The kind I had told 1,000 times in different ways. I hit send. The message delivered instantly. And something inside my chest sank. Heavy and quiet. Because even now, I still couldn't tell the truth. Ria watched my face carefully. You feel it, don't you? She said. Feel what? The moment where you could have chosen differently. I swallowed hard. Did I feel it? Yes. Like a door closing somewhere deep inside, very slowly, very permanently. Silence returned again. But this silence felt different from before. Not sharp. Not explosive. Just waiting. Like the story hadn't reached its real turning point yet. And maybe this wasn't the end of anything. Maybe this was only the beginning. I finally looked at her and asked the question that truly mattered. What happens now? Ria didn't answer immediately. She stepped closer, just enough that I could see my reflection faintly in her eyes. When she finally spoke, her voice was almost a whisper. Now, she said, you decide how much of your life you're ready to lose, to become the person you really are. A chill moved through me. Lose or gain? I asked quietly. She held my gaze. That depends on what you choose next. My phone buzzed again in my hand. Not a message this time. An incoming video call. From Mia. The screen lit up bright in the dim room, her name glowing like a final test I wasn't ready to face. Ria didn't move. Didn't speak. She just watched, waiting for the answer only I could give. My thumb hovered over the green button. Heart racing. Breath shaking. 2 lives balanced on a single touch. If I answered, everything could collapse. If I didn't, something else might begin. The phone kept ringing. Louder. More urgent. Impossible to ignore. And in that suspended second right before I chose, I realized the most terrifying truth of all. This story was never about an intern or a secret or even a dress. It was about the moment a life built on silence finally runs out of places to hide. My thumb moved toward the screen, and the call connected.